Good morning. This is Wealth Principle 26. 26 weeks to wealth so far. There are 52 in the group. And so what we've done is halfway through the process. Principle 26 is an interesting principle. It's something that most people would disagree with because most people believe that their competition is their enemy. Whereas as an alchemist, you understand that your competition is only a future ally. It's somebody that you could partner with in the future. It's somebody who could take some work from you. In fact, I don't train my competition. I train my replacements. I look at all my competitors as people who I could either partner with or pass work onto eventually if they're truly good at what they do. And so principle 26 is study the people and businesses that are performing the way you want your business to perform. And so they may or may not be in your market, but they're doing what you're doing and they're doing it better than you. Like that's the people I'm talking about studying. If they're not doing it better than you, don't study them. You can't fix disease by studying disease. You can only fix disease by studying health. And so it's the same situation with your business. If somebody's doing worse than you, you know, pat them on the head, move on, maybe teach them, lend a hand. But if somebody's doing better than you, that's where you want to be focusing all your time. Focus on the best, surround yourself with the best, and you'll become the best. That's a book, Science of Getting Rich. Who's read that book so far? The Science of Getting Rich. Pretty much everybody in the mentorship program, right? One of the required books. So this principle of wealth is focused on doing better. When you look at your competitors as trainers, as educators, as people who could take you to the next level, your business becomes much, much easier. Can you think of somebody right now, somebody who maybe in the past you felt a little awkward around, like, oh man, they do better than me. Oh, uh, they're just a little ahead of where I'm at, and you felt uncomfortable talking to them or communicating with them, or when their name came up in a conversation, it was just a little bit weird. Hands to the camera if you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever, at some point in your life, experienced that, yes. So it's okay. It's natural. It's human instinct. But here's the deal. Human instinct is designed to keep you broke. Human instinct is designed to keep you comfortable. And if you look at everybody who's comfortable, they're not doing really cool things. When you think about why you're here to make money and experience more in life, right? You want big numbers in the bank, the numbers that would scare your friends. If you say you want to become a millionaire, how many friends outside of this community would support that? Probably not too many. And then the people, well, I know you guys are in other big communities, right? So inside this community, can you think of 5, 10, 15 people who would support you becoming a millionaire easily, instantly? And so before getting into communities like this, I know many of you have been on this journey for a while and are in a bunch of communities, but before getting into this community, it would probably, if you thought about everybody in your family, could you easily find 10 people, 15 people who would be supportive in becoming a millionaire? Or would that be a hard task? In your family, Dorina, in your family. That'd be a tough one. Maybe. Or millionaires themselves. Already millionaires in your family. 10? Chris Hayward, you got a cool family. You got to introduce us.
A couple.
Nice. And so maybe you're like me. Some of you are like me where you didn't know a single millionaire growing up. And it wasn't until I hit 28 that I started focusing on finding at least one. And once I'd found one, I found that the exercise became easier. And now I have over 100, yeah, it's well over 100 millionaires in my network. And I can say that the people I spend the most time with are millionaires, deca millionaires. The people that I study the most are billionaires. Like the people who's, they wrote a book. If I'm going to decide whether the book is a read or not, Mike Shine turned me on to a book by Sam Zell the other day, who's a multi-billionaire 5 times over. And if Warren Buffett thinks a thought and it somehow gets tweeted, I'm reading it. If Donald Trump says something, I'm like, okay, what is he up to? There are certain people that I'll follow because of how successful they've become. Does this make sense? There are people within my industry. There are investors within our industry. Rod Cleef, Grant Cardone. These are people who are coming up right now buying 2,000 units, 10,000 units. Matt Pitcheney, right? A good friend of ours from Boston here has 2,000 units. These are people who you follow because they're doing something you want to do. This makes sense? They're not the competition. They're people you can learn from. So your business. So I go to my local business. I think about being a real estate agent. And there's a real estate coach, Tom Ferry, if you're a licensed agent. He's number one in teaching people how to sell real estate. There's Brian Buffini, who's number one in the referral systems for real estate. These are people you can follow. Then I have local agents who do better than anybody else in the country, like Kyle Seabeth. That's a name that he can close 500-600 deals a year. And so there's people you want to study. There's people who do really well. And we're going to do a little exercise because it's helpful to do exercise. The mind memorizes them. If you're in an industry outside of real estate, for example, Melanie owns Subways. Give Melanie a round of applause. She's a badass. Look at her with that cute little thing on her head. Looking awesome, Mel. Good to see you this morning. Or Stephanie. Stephanie owns hair salons. So she's in a different type of market. Although both of them play with real estate, they have a different type of competitor. Where are my real estate agents at? Real estate agents, hands to the camera. Licensed agents. Excellent. Wholesalers, hands to the camera if you're a wholesaler. There you go. Excellent. Investors, as in buy and hold investors. Excellent. And where are my flippers at? People who rehab, flip, turn, and burn. Excellent. Excellent. So each and every one of you has somebody in your market doing more deals than you. I know I do. I know there are people who do 10, 100 flips a year. I know there are people who own 100, 200, 300, 400 units. I know people who own 1,400 units in our market, in our area. So there are people ahead of me in both of my businesses. There are coaches, right? So I do the mentorship, I do this education. There are mentors out there, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, who are doing 15,000 people in a Zoom call. So there's always somebody bigger than you. There's always somebody out there producing more. Does that make sense? Yep. And that's okay because they leave the breadcrumb trail behind for you. So we're going to do a little exercise because exercises make it stick. You've heard the saying, if you say it, you remember it. If you do it, you memorize it. If you write it down, it's somewhere in between there. And so that action step of writing down, going through a little process is going to help you memorize this principle. So right now, focus on somebody who you know is more successful than you in your field right now. In the field that you've chosen, the field that pays you the most. Because there are, I know many of you have multiple streams of income and you're doing multiple different things. So think of the one that pays you the most first. Write that down on a piece of paper. You can throw it in the chat. I love seeing these. So think about what pays you most, what you do for a living that pays you most right now. Either write that in the chat or drop it in your notebook. Write it down. There you go. Real estate for the governor, for the government. Hook us up with that, Rob. I want to buy some stuff. Now, you know what you're doing for money right now may not always be what you're doing. But let's say it's been doing well for you and you want to increase it, you want to double it, right? Because this is your mainstream and you want to double your mainstream. Can you think of somebody right now who is doing that exactly, either double or 5 times or 10 times bigger than you in your market right now? You've had conversations with them or you've met them or you've heard of them. If you're a hairstylist, you've definitely heard that somebody else is doing really well, or you see that they're very busy, you see them on Facebook, whatever it may be. If you own Subways, you see a Subway that's just crushing it. You drive by it and you see the line is packed and you think, okay, what are they doing differently than I'm doing? If you're a real estate agent, you've heard the names, you've heard that person, you've seen their social media or you've seen their videos and you know, okay, they're doing something a little bit better than me. What is causing you can, in fact, if you're an agent, you can go right online and see all of their MLS transactions, right? And you can see who's just doing more. HomeSmart or HomePath, I think, is the website that we use to track what other agents are selling. And so there's tools to identify. Everybody have somebody? Everybody got somebody in mind right now? Yes? Excellent. So write that down. Write it down. And now next to that, you're going to write down, how can I learn from this person? How can I learn from this person? And the next step is, how can I add more business to this person's business? They're already better than me. How can I send them more business? How can I improve their business? This is how I sneak into the world of people smarter, richer, better than I am. I look, I identify, and I say, what are they looking for? What are they really good at? And how do I jump into their business and get more for them so that, one, I can learn, two, maybe I'll get an extra stream of income, and three, my clients will be very, very taken care of, because anybody who can handle that level of volume is probably very good at what they're doing. Does this make sense?
100%.
So when I send my leads out, I look for the best agents in the area to send my leads to, because I know that they're going to treat my clients very well. Does that make sense? When I decided I wanted to service more people instead of just doing the agency myself, so instead of making a $5,000, $10,000 commission check, now I'm making a $2,000 to $5,000 commission check. So the checks have gone down, but the volume of the checks has gone up, and the amount of work I put in has gone drastically down. I do absolutely nothing in this business. In fact, I've gone so far from even that piece that now Dorina does all of the referring out for me, the vetting and the referring. And so I've separated entirely from the business, but the checks still flow through. Does that make sense? So you can do this in your business. Now, is anybody in a business where if they sent all of the business that the other competitor is doing better than them to, would lose money? Is there anybody in the business where your income stream would suddenly dry up or disappear? Perfect. So you find a way to do it. Ryan, go ahead. Would you say that you'd lose money if you referred all your business to your competitors?
For no fee, yeah, but no. I mean, depends
All
how
right.
much I'm referring over. So
Excellent. So thank you for saying that. So when I say you're giving them business, they're paying you for the business. There is a referral fee embedded into that conversation, because you wouldn't just pass business along for no reason unless you were recruiting somebody. If you're looking to bring somebody onto your team, then yes, I could see passing them business sometimes. So very good point, Ryan. Did you get a haircut, brother? Looking sharp.
no, I haven't. I just wanted to add on to that though. I mean, I would only refer if I can, how do I say it? I guess make up that money that I'm referring by doing something else, by using that time that I don't have for that client. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that would be the method. So you'd get better at doing something that you're not good at, or you'd get better at something that you're good at and outsource something that you're not good at.
Right.
So as an agent, you're a marketer, right? As an agent, that's your job, is marketing. And sales is secondary, because there's no sales without people knowing what you do. And so that sales piece is the first thing. Well, paperwork. Okay. So first you're a marketer, second you're sales, and third you have to do these transactions. You do all the paperwork. So the first thing you let go is paperwork. Is there somebody who processes deals faster than you? And if there is, get them in line. And then is there somebody who's better at sales and going on appointments than you? Yes. Well, get them in line. And then eventually, is there somebody who's better at marketing than you? Then put them in line and just take their leads and run it. And so process all the way through, replacing yourself with people better than you. I talked to a friend of mine. He owns a rim company, Jim's Rims, which is like the greatest name ever. And he repairs rims. And what he was telling me is that he's having a hard time with his employees. And has anybody ever had a hard time with employees or coworkers? Yes. All right. So here's the secret, the magic sauce to employees. Always be hiring more employees. Always be hiring more. Always be prepared to fire. So I learned this lesson in real estate I went from a team of 0 to a team of 25, and then quickly down to a team of 18, and then back to 25, and then back down to 18, and then back to 25, because agency turnover is higher than most industries. And so after a little while, I realized the only way to get the best agents was to always be hiring agents. And then after about 2 years of running that business, I realized I don't like hiring agents personally. I've got to get somebody else to do it. And until I do that, I'm just getting out of agency for a little while. So you'll have seen that agency shut down for about a year because I just wasn't interested. I was making more money on the flips. And it wasn't until this year that we said, okay, let's start this again. But this time we have hiring as a job. There's somebody whose entire job is just bringing people in, because volume is high enough in our business where it actually justifies. Does that make sense? So what I told Jim is, one, always be hunting for new talent, always be hiring, always have a low level position, this bottom of the barrel position that's super cheap for you to hire and bring in. Maybe it's free, maybe it's a training position to see if you like the person. And when you find somebody who's kicking ass, they're cheap, they're kicking butt, they're working because they believe in the mission, they're working because they want to do a great job, well, then fire the person you don't like. Fire the least productive person. And even if you've got a team of champions, then fire the lowest level of champions. Or let them know that they're on the chopping block, and have that conversation and watch people step up on a way that you've never seen. And here's the deal. When you fire that champion, and suddenly there's more work involved to be done. You've heard this story before. Well, they let go of this person who was doing everything. I was the new hire, and now I'm doing everything, and they haven't replaced them yet. I ever been in that position or heard that story? Or do you know the company is making more money during those periods than they've ever made before? They got rid of their highest paid person, and they hired somebody who's brand new, who's still somehow doing all the work of that other person that they had before, and the cost is now lower. We've seen this, we've heard this, we've complained about it ourselves, haven't we? Yes, because usually it's that person who becomes the entrepreneur. It's usually that person who has the entrepreneurial seizure, as Michael Gerber says in the E-Myth. They feel like, oh my God, I'm doing the work of this whole company. I can run my own company, my own business, and then start their own business. And so you've experienced it, and the company's been profitable from doing it. Go ahead, Terry.
That's a poorly run company also. And so,
Right.
I mean, you don't see Warren Buffett's companies having that issue because he treats
He's
his
always
employees
hiring.
like the high performers they are, and
Right.
he gets more high performers. And so it's really how you're going about it.
He
I have a
hires slow and fires fast.
I have a quick story about a lawyer quite similar to Mike Shine, who's a good friend of mine now and has been a client for about 2 years. And I started working with him, and he was making about 15 grand a month, and net profit about 2 grand a month because he wasn't understanding how to make his company work. He always worked for bigger companies where he was one of many. And so he went out on his own and he couldn't seem to make it work. And so I helped him realize what you're talking about, which is there is no competition, it's collaboration and bring people in to help. And he's added 4 lawyers now and admin, and he has basically 6x his revenue, but he's 30x his net profit. And so one of the things that's really important is when you're looking at your revenue not going up as high as you think it should, as far as the X factor, your net profit is going to go way higher when you're doing it right. And so everything that we do when we're looking to grow is really more about intention and how can I double, how can I remove some things to make our system work faster and better. And so it works like that because it's the principles of business and it's the principles of reciprocity and these things that we're talking about, not so much grind.
Right. So we're staying away from the word grind. I had a guy on the podcast a while back say that he doesn't grind anymore. He floats on a cloud, and everything happens around him. That was the interview with Dan Zatofsky, which I think just came back out on Anchor on the podcast. So if you haven't checked that interview out, go check out Alchemist Nation podcast. Look for Dan Zatofsky. And he's really built like an amazing business, 600 properties in 3 different states. And he, for a while, was driving all the cars until something hit him and he said, you know what, I'm done flipping. I want to start owning. And he just transitioned, shifted over. And so the Alchemist Nation podcast, anybody heard of it? Anybody seen that I do it? I'm interviewing these like champions, multimillionaires, decamillionaires. The reason is this principle. I found a way to add value to their businesses. Every single person that I'm working with, that I'm interviewing, is looking for more advertisement, more eyes on their business. They're looking for more students. They're looking for more deals. And so by putting them on a podcast, they become the authority in their area. Does that make sense? And so I have an easy in, and my 3 questions at the end are, what would the 3 pieces of advice that you would give to your 20-year-old self so that you could be where you are, more successful, more happy, faster? And so I'm getting free coaching the entire time. And as they're telling their story, I'm learning, and you're learning because I share it with everybody. And it's a valuable resource that I was able to give my competitors. Does this make sense? I've interviewed people locally. I've interviewed people all across the country. And it's a value add to their business. And at first blush, you might think, well, he's just doing it to get, more interest on the podcast. It does work. That does work. It brings more interest in the podcast, makes it a better product. But the truth behind it is it's my dream 100. It's the 100 people who are better than me, the 100 people who are doing more than me that I want to learn from. And I'm bringing them onto the podcast, getting education, learning from them, and boosting their awareness in their community. When they go out and share the podcast, and they've got a network that is exactly the same network as mine, I'm getting exposure to their network. They're getting exposure to my network, and it's this collaborative share. And now they look better because they're on a podcast. Many of these people I'm interviewing, it's their first podcast they've ever been on. Anybody been on the podcast so far? And it was, yes, your first podcast? Very cool. Well, Terry's the only one who wasn't. So, and probably Mitch Jorsky, right?
You're muted.
Mitch, you're muted.
I've been on, I can't keep track. I've been on.
Right.
Like
I've done so many podcasts.
When I first met you, we did one before we even really knew each other. So
this is true, Mitch. This is true. So if you haven't been on the podcast and you wrote a book, or you've made $1 million, or you own a really cool business, then shoot me a text. Let's get you on the podcast. I'm always looking for more talent. And I love to help people in our community. In fact, it's part of what I offer to all the mentorship members is, let's jump on the podcast and let me interview you. This way, when you become big, everybody can see that beginning first interview and then say, wow, look at how far they've come. Because it is a cool experience to be able to look back. Although most people don't like to see themselves on camera, you just have to get over it. I promise you look good on camera. You're doing all right.
Funny enough, you are the first person I ever did a Facebook Live with in Vegas. And I don't know if you remember, but I couldn't get 2 words out.
No, I don't remember. I thought you did wonderful. that must be your own distorted memory of the moment.
Hey.
You did a great job, man. And so Facebook Lives, great strategy. If there's somebody out there marketing better than you, memorize, ask, learn, see what they're doing. How do they make that schedule happen, right? How do they get on Facebook Live? If there's somebody who's servicing clients faster than you, better than you, moving them through, just, hey, how do you do it? Right? I remember when I sat with Kyle, I said, Kyle, like, how do you handle all the calls? And he said, I take every single call that comes through. Every single call, I take it. But then I text them my email address and ask them to send over all those questions via email. And I was like, okay, so your email box is insane, like filled. And he said, my wife takes care of my email box. So his wife's at home handling all the emails, speaking on his behalf, booking all the appointments, booking all the showings, looking at his calendar, scheduling out his day. And then I was like, so how do you hit all these appointments? And he's like, well, I only do Cranston and Warwick on one day. I only do North Providence on one day. I only do North Smithfield on one day. North Kingstown, East Greenwich. These are days. If I'm going to hit Massachusetts, I do Massachusetts on one day. And So his schedule is so balanced, and it's 2 weeks out. And just from a quick conversation, right? He lives in his calendar. He prints up before he leaves his house all of the people he's going to call that day, and he runs through and he reaches out to everybody that he owes a conversation with. And so, like, it's little systems, but you could see how by implementing those systems, you could be extremely effective as an agent. Yes. And he's got a rule: 30 minutes in an appointment. He's not in a house more than 30 minutes. In and out, in and out, in and out. And it's all group showings. Everything's a group showing. And so he runs his business more streamlined than any other agent that I've ever met. And so he's the one who taught me how to streamline the efficiency of your business. And so any agent who's ever worked with me, agents who've heard me say 30 minutes or more an appointment's a dead appointment, there's no point, you're losing money, that came from Kyle. That came from somebody better than me in the marketplace. Is that okay that somebody else taught me a lesson that's made me millions?
It's the only way.
The only way. In fact, first time I met him, we were sitting at a closing, and he was working with an investor, and he made a fly comment he said, I always keep cash around to buy 2 houses. I always keep enough cash around so I can buy 2 houses, because you never know if the banks are going to be lending. You never know what the requirements are going to be with the banks. And so you want to make sure that you can close on deals that come through in the moments that they're deals, because nobody else can finance them. We're coming into a place right now, into a place in the market where most commercial deals are very hard to finance. We're seeing commercial prices come down because people can't buy them. They just can't close. They can't get the financing. Has anybody noticed this so far? If you're not in the commercial market, well, okay. So if you're in the commercial market, you've noticed it. If you're not in the commercial market and haven't had to go for a loan yet, it's 35% down, which is a big change from what they previously were. It's 6 to 12 months reserves, which is a big change. It used to be 3 months reserves. The credit score hasn't changed too much, but there are some changes in the commercial markets. Now you can still get loans that are 80%, 20% down, and they're higher interest rates. Yeah, they're 7-8% interest, whereas these commercial loans are 4%, 4.5. So the market's shifted just a little bit in lending, and I think that if things continue, it will continue to shift. Well, the only people who'll be in a good position are people who have cash. So thank God I had that conversation 5 years ago. So I know to keep that nice reserve in the bank. And if you don't have a reserve in the bank, Ken Hoffman, I know, because this is what we were talking about at the cigar shop the other day, then make sure you have a network of people who do have a reserve in the bank. There are a lot of people who are sitting on cash and have no idea what to do with it, no idea how to move it into real estate, or they do. Like some of the guys who lend to me do know exactly what to do with it in real estate, and they don't want to do it anymore. They're over it. They've made their money in real estate, and now they've pulled it out from active real estate and they shifted over to passive real estate, and they just want to put you to work and have you do the deals. So there's money out there for all the transactions you want to do. Does that make sense? So when it comes to being the best, or learning from your competition, learning from the best, what are a couple of things that you could do right now that you could add value to their business that wouldn't take away from your business? In fact, it'd be a service for your business. Some competitors, some people who are doing an amazing job that you could actually utilize what they're doing and add value to your business. And if this is one that brings up questions, I'll understand. Having a hard time with it? Is there anything yes, go ahead, Steph.
What would you suggest for my business? Because I'm trying to think here. I know the whole referral, but other than the referral program, what would you suggest?
So for you, you could just teach the lessons in the book, how to make a 6-figure income in the salon industry, right? Most of the people in your business are not making $100,000.
All right, but okay.
Go ahead.
No, I just have a hard time, in front of camera, like explaining sometimes. So that's where I get stuck on. But I think that's another story.
Yeah, that's a whole other element. Adding value by training classes. So you're talking about somebody more successful than you in the salon industry, right? Somebody who owns a bunch of salons, or somebody who's got a full salon, full staff. Well, what do they need? They want their girls trained on something better so they can be more efficient. So if you're teaching their girls more efficient processes, that is a good strategy. There's a lot of different ways that you can add value to somebody who's got a salon. Go in and ask, hey, what are you looking for? What do you want more of? And help them out with whatever they're looking to do. With investors, real estate investors, it's not always as obvious. What do they want, right? Sometimes they want more deals. Sometimes they want somebody to refinance. Sometimes they want maintenance. Sometimes they want a painter. So with real estate investors, it's not always as obvious what they're looking for depending on where they are in their career. And so you have to ask. You go out, you find out where they're at, make a phone call. Hey, what could you use in your business right now? And bring them what they're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
So with the hair salon, yeah, find out what they're looking for. You may find, Steph, that they're looking to sell. And so that may be the ideal situation. Well, you're looking to sell, really. And you'd sell at a discount. Excellent. And all of this comes with it, and your staff stays. Perfect. So find out what the champions in your area are looking to do and help them out.
For sure. I do feel like in our industry, or what I've noticed is that a lot of the time they have trouble finding the staff. And that's like one of the reasons why they do close down.
So I bet you there's somebody who doesn't have that problem. I bet you there's somebody in your marketplace who's very good at finding the staff.
Right.
Go to them and see what they want, and then ask how they fill their staff.
Oh, okay.
Right. So if you have a weakness, don't go to somebody else and bring your weakness, right? You have a strength, you're good at social media, or you have a certain way of styling hair that is unique to you, that's getting you more business than anybody else. Go to the person who's great at bringing their staff in and find out what they're doing, but also find out what they're looking for, what you could do to improve their business. There's something that you can do to improve somebody else's business. And here's the deal. If you don't have that skill yet, go get that skill. When I first started working with investors who were bigger than me, I didn't have the skill of finding off-market deals, but that's all they asked for. And so I went and I built the skill. I learned it. I grinded on it for a little while. And now I have the ability to offer that skill to all the largest investors in the state. What are you looking for? Where are you looking? Cool, I'll go find it. I've got the strategy to teach you.
How would you approach that person? Like, let's say you never talked to that person, they're successful, you want to talk to them, but like, how would you initiate conversation?
I start with a smile. I like smiling. Hi, the word hi. Go ahead, sorry.
So in 1995, I was a cook in a restaurant in Portland, Oregon. And I was kind of tired of where I was at. This is actually 94. And I was working at basically a really successful chain restaurant, but I wanted something a little bit better. And so I went to the best restaurant in town. And I went to the head chef of that restaurant and I said, you are the best in this town. There's nobody better than you. You are amazing. And I want to take about 5 minutes of your time because I want to know how I can follow in your footsteps and what I have to do to learn how to be like you. The guy told me to go in the kitchen and cook him something. About 15, 20 minutes later, he hired me. The moral of this story is if you want something like Walter's talking about, you don't have to know how to do the skill necessarily, but you have to be willing to go and do the skill that they tell you to. I had no idea if I was his caliber or not. I was good enough. But the thing is your willingness to go talk to them, tell them what you like about them, tell them what you want from them, and tell them you're willing to do anything that they ask you to, and they open up to you.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Terry.
It's just being willing to serve, just going out there and serve and serve and serve and
be honest about what you want and what you don't know.
Yeah. It's a place to be vulnerable. Now, obviously, lead with your seed, not with your need. or your greed. Lead with your seed. So you start with, hey, I can help. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? What are you looking for? And you can be honest, but do not lead with your need, because that's unattractive, right? You want to go in as an attractive personality, somebody who is seeking to help others. Go in and say, hey, I've got the ability to help you because I've got at least these two hands and this mouth, and I walked over, right? So I got transportation to get to where you're at. And maybe I don't. Maybe I'm stuck behind this screen and I can't do anything other than text and Zoom call you. But I've got the desire to do more to help you build your business. And so from that point, from that space, build out. What are you looking for? What could you use right now? And if they say, well, this, well, I'm not really good at that yet. Do you have a suggestion on how I could learn to get better so I can help you out? And so over time, through the conversation, you can be letting them know, oh, I lack in this area, you know, I lack, but I'm willing to improve. And that's enough. Like Terry got a job by going to the top chef. So he got to work with the person he admired the most by going to the person and telling them, I admire you the most. And sometimes that's all it is. Yeah, my mentors, I just go to, when I meet my mentors, right, for the first time, I'm like a movie star. I'm like starstruck by a movie star. I'm like, oh man, like you're amazing. I've been following your progression for a while now. And all the stuff you have it's insane how much you've accomplished. And of course, they do what any person does. They get embarrassed. And then they get puffed up a little bit. And then they say, well, where are you at? Right? What are you doing? And that's how the conversation opens up. And, you know, the best people, you keep them. And the people who you're like, oh, you know what? They're not who I thought they were. You let them go. And just keep the best around you. And learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. And eventually you will be valuable to that person. Eventually you'll have something that can be valuable to them.
Alrighty, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, Steph. Great question. Did that answer a question for everybody else as well? Was Steph coming out here saying her piece valuable to everybody else? Excellent. Give Steph a round of applause. Appreciate it. And let's give Terry a round of applause for jumping in with the soup story. That was cool. Love that. So when it comes to being successful, there are people in your market doing better than you. When you start your business, you're likely at the bottom. There are three levels of mentorship. There are the person above you. I'll write this down. There's a person above you who's doing better than you. There's the person who is your peer. There is the person who is on the same level with you. You got the same energy, going out, doing the same activities. And then there's the person who is just behind you. I don't care where you're at in this business. There's always somebody just behind you. And so we were in the cigar shop this Thursday. So as the South Coast Real Estate Investors Group, we've turned it into cigars and real estate. And I was there with Chris, and we were in Westerly. So we were out in Mike Shine's neighborhood, and we were having a conversation, well, close to North Kingstown. And we were having a conversation, and the person who brought me in owns a 3-family, and Ken Hoffman was there with me. Ken owns a 6-family. And so Ken was able to give a little bit of advice to Chris, and Chris brought 2 gentlemen in who don't own anything yet. And so he was giving them advice. And then I was there and have 47 units, about to get up to 61. And so I'm at a level a little ahead of them. And then they're somebody just a little ahead of each other. And then there's somebody who's a little ahead of them. And there's somebody who's never done anything in the business. And we were all just having a great conversation, leading, mentoring, and being led by each other. Does that make sense? And what was cool is there was only 5 of us. So we had cigars, we had a little whiskey, and we had this great conversation all across the levels. And you would think that in that situation, I would be talking the most, right? I would say I probably talked the least, because the questions were so low level that it actually made sense to let the other guys, made sense to let Ken tell his stories, made sense to let Chris tell his stories, because at that level, Ken and Chris were learning more by teaching, right? So I couldn't teach what they were learning by teaching. Does that make sense? Ken, you were there. What do you think? You agree? You learned something by giving your stories out?
Yeah, no, Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I'm driving. I'm trying to double time here. I'm helping my brother move. Yeah, it was great, man. I really enjoyed it. Actually, I was thinking back on it. I was like, damn it, man, you should have closed your mouth a little bit more and learned a little bit more from Walter. But, uh, you know, because sometimes I do talk a little too much, but I did really enjoy giving advice to other people about because yeah, I do realize that, I'm in this area already, and there's people that are just trying to get the courage to get started and take that first step, and they just need to see somebody that's just a little bit ahead of them to give them that spark and that drive to make that next step.
Absolutely. And thank you, Ken. We understand you're driving, so drive safe, get to your destination. You're going to leave us on in the background. So that experience is an experience we'll all suffer at some point, right? You're there with somebody who you know is far more successful than you, and they let you talk instead of them talking. And so there's this little piece where it's like, oh, really? Like, okay, like, let me go give my piece of advice. And you learn something in that moment. It's very, very valuable. So seize those moments and understand that. So in that moment, I was learning from Ken. I was learning, what does he know? Where is his head at? What knowledge base does he have? And so where are his blind spots and where are his strengths? And as Ken told, gave the information, everything was accurate. It all made sense. Excellent. So Ken is good at articulating himself. He's understands where he is in the industry. So he just joined our mentorship program. Give him a round of applause. Give Ken a round of applause for joining the mentorship program. He joined the mentorship program, and so now I have a good understanding of where he's at. And so it helps me as a mentor to push him to the next level. So sometimes you'll be with your mentors, they'll let you talk. And in some cases, they'll let you make a fool of yourself. In some cases, they'll let you stand up on top of the pedestal and look really good. Either way, as long as they gave permission, just never step on their toes, right? And this is one thing I learned early on is, because I was, much like Ken, I want to give, right? We're teachers naturally inside, right? But I'd step on my mentor's toes and I'd be like, oh shit, like fuck, like maybe I shouldn't have done that. And so I learned that lesson. And every one of us will learn that lesson. It's important to keep learning, keep growing. But if they're the right mentor, they're gonna let it slide. They're gonna be like, okay, like they needed that more than me. And that's the person you want to hang out with. That's the mentor who you want to keep learning from, because they understand where you're at and they're patient enough. I guess some mentors who are not. They're like, okay, like done, all set with this guy, because I wasn't at their level yet. Does that make sense? Years later, totally at their level. Totally, I totally get their personality, understand it, and it may take you a little while to reach out to the mentors. Mike Shine, have you read the book of the week or little sections of it?
I sure have.
So for everybody who, let me introduce you, Mike. Sorry, brother. I ended that too quick. You were like ready.
I'm so ready. Woo!
So for anybody who hasn't been with us before, this is a section of our 52 Weeks of Wealth where we talk about the book of the week. Sometimes we do it at the beginning, sometimes the middle. Mike is always ready, no matter when we do it. But the book of the week is in line with the principle of the week. If you go to gualtermerlo.com/blog, you can see we have a blog post that has all of the principles of each week lined up with the book of each week. Without further ado, Mike Stein, the holistic attorney, what is the book of the week?
I'm always ready because I like to speak more than I listen. So book of the week is Tribe of Mentors. And this is, of all the books, this is more of a coffee table book, kind of keep it out, because basically what Tim Ferriss did was he got a lot of famous people to answer 5 or 6 of 11 different questions. Like if you had a billboard, what would be the words you would put on a billboard, that type of thing. It's just fun to look through. Some of the people that I recognized in here are Ben Stiller, let's see, Andrew Ross Sorkin, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. There's a ton of different people. You can see all the names. They're just famous people, successful people, and just little advice. A really good one that I was reading with my wife on the porch this morning was Mr. Money Mustache. You probably heard of him. If you haven't heard of Mr. Money Mustache, go check out his blog. He's awesome. and he had some really great advice in his little section. So yeah, Tribe of Mentors is just a fun book. It's not like Ray Dalio where you've got to crush 800 pages in 2 days and kill yourself. It's just fun, and you can talk to your friends about it. So I recommend it.
That was fun. We brought in Ray Dalio's book Principles, which is a massive book. I mean, you're talking almost 20 hours of reading it, but it's a phenomenal book to learn the principle. And so who has read Principles by Ray Dalio? Who took up that challenge? And for everybody else who hasn't, we understand. It's okay. That book, I danced around that book for almost 4 years. So it took me a little while to finally take on that challenge. But it is in the 52 Weeks to Wealth, because the principles that Ray Dalio is talking about are key to how economies work. And it's important to understand what we're doing here. Tribe of Mentors, there's a principle of studying. That's the one we're on, studying the people who are better than you in your industry, somebody who's done more than you. And Tribe of Mentors is Tim Ferriss going out and doing that same exact thing, but with the billionaires of the world, the richest people, the most successful people in the world. And so it's a great little look into their life. What are these successful people doing? And what has made them so successful? These principles that are behind all of it.
Exactly.
And so,
hey, Walter, I just wanted to list a couple other people that people may know.
Yep.
Gary V is in there. Ashton Kutcher is in there. Greg Norman, the golfer, is in there. David Lynch, the director. And they ask him, I said it's a coffee table book, but the advice that people give about failure and what motivated them and things like that is just really, really useful too. It's snippets, but it's valuable. So,
and if you buy it on Audible, it's $27. Use your credit. So if you got audio credits,
Right.
those are only $15. So that's a pro tip.
Although I feel like the book would be better for this one. You know, it's kind of there are certain books that are.
I just did both. I ordered the book, but it won't get here for 3 days. So
Yeah. So.
I got the audio now. Just to see. I'll see how the audio is. Did you try the audio out, Mike?
Not on Tribe of Mentors. No.
Yeah. I gauge whether I'm going to go through a book by how big it is.
Mm-hmm.
Download an Audible. Let me see. This is well, it's downloading right now, so I'll tell you in a little bit. But it's looking like it's going to be a 20 plus hour book, which is okay.
That's cool.
So, question for Mike with that book, because I haven't seen it yet. Is it like
18 hours? 18 hours.
I don't mean haven't seen the cover. I saw the cover. Thanks.
Hey, look at the cover.
Wait, let me look at it again.
Let's look at it.
Wait, is it like each person that's interviewed gets a topic and then they talk about their experience with that topic, or is it
no? So there's
talk
11.
about several different.
There's 11 questions that he gives, and then the people choose of those 11s which ones they want to answer. So you'll notice like some people won't answer one question or will answer another, and then some people who probably the high eyes answer every single question because they just want to be heard. Damn it!
So Mike Shine is a high I influencer.
Amen.
I don't know what that's like.
So Terry is also a high I influencer. So before I close this up and open up to questions, there's something I do at the end of every one of our trainings. Sometimes I sneak in the middle. Sometimes I put it at the end. I'm going to sell and discuss the mentorship program. It is going to take about 30 seconds this time. It's very expensive, $1,000 for 2 months. And I'm not selling my coaching. My coaching costs $25,000 a year. I'm not doing it because, to be perfectly honest, I have other things that I want to do with my time. And if I had to dedicate 30 minutes every single week to somebody for an entire year, it would take a lot of my time. So I would do it for the right people, but for the most part, the mentorship is what I'm willing to service. It is the celebrity coaches. You get our celebrity coaches one-on-one with them. You get a one-on-one with me, one-on-one over the 8 weeks. Over those 8 weeks, we kick your ass mentally. We make you forget about all the shit that doesn't work. And then we instill your mind with the right things, push you in the right direction. The idea is doubling your income, getting your net worth to be worth $1 million. If you don't want to be a millionaire, then the mentorship is not right for you. If you want to become a millionaire, then I don't know a better, cheaper program that will get you to that point. Now, the mentorship will not make you a millionaire in 8 weeks. I want to be very clear that this is a 3 to 5 year process to become a millionaire. What it does is give you the connections that will get you there. We connect you with the right coaches. We connect you with the right relationships. Some people have found their business partners in the mentorship program. The alchemists who have already been through it, graduates, hands up to the camera if you're a graduate, if you've been through the program. Notice how you're still a part of the community. It's great to still have you in the community, still doing deals, still texting me, still having conversations, working together. That is the whole point. The mentorship is like a trial by fire. If you can get past it, I like you. If you don't end up getting past it, then, well, it didn't work out, and that's okay. The idea is that I just got into a point in my business where I only want serious people around me. I want people who want to become millionaires. We're building the 100 millionaires, and the mentorship program's a trial by fire. It's the starting piece. Everybody who's in it as a coach, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for dedicating the time with our students. You guys do an amazing job. I've heard nothing but great words from Mike Shine, who has given legal advice, helped people find the money, private money, to Mitch Jorsky, who has helped people find out how to the process to do their first deal and held their hand through the process of getting their first deal. Terry Wager, generator coaching, helping people pull out the blocks in their minds, stopping them from making income. Darina Pagodina, helping people find their agents, locking them into deals, finding deals, putting offers in, getting them pre-approved, whatever the first step is on doing your first transaction. And between all of these coaches, we have 4 others. There are, let me see, I'll pull it up on the website right now. You got Doug, the hypnotist, so teaching people how to get into the deeper parts of their minds, clearing things out. There's Ryan McDermott, who is a financial advisor who, for a small fee, just walks through all of your finances and makes sure that you are 100% in line doing the right things, removing the wrong things. There are 2 other coaches who I can't think of right now, and I don't have it in front of me, but as we're adding, we're always looking for other coaches. Mitch Durfee, yep, Mitch Durfee, teach people how to wholesale and find deals offline. And I'm bringing on, hopefully, I'm trying to convince Chris Hayward to be a coach for cold calling, getting people motivated to do the deals. So it's a process. There is a process. There's a book a week you got to read. I mean, there's a lot. Is there anybody right now who knows that mentorship is something that they need, something that they want in their life? Hand to the camera if you're looking for a mentor. Excellent. Excellent. For those who've already signed up, hand to the camera, got a mentor, they're pretty happy. Know that now that I'm here, you're looking for the next one. Yes. Excellent. And so it's a progression. You should have 2 mentors, 3 coaches, and 1 mastermind. And that is the beginning. And at any point in your life, you want to be changing, upgrading, shifting those out so that you can get to the next level. So if you're interested in the mentorship program, my specific mentorship program, this $1,000 for 2 months, $1,000, basically it's less than $130 a week. Yeah, $130 a week to get through this program all the way through and identify where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are. Let me know. Shoot me a text, put something in the chat. Darina will contact you. Darina, can you just make sure you shoot everybody the link to the mentorship program? And if they have questions, let's schedule something for later in the week so we can do a quick little conversation, quick little call to answer any questions about the mentorship program. We will do a personality assessment. We were just talking about DISC with Mike and Terry. The personality that you have will dictate the way you do your business. So for example, Andrew Casal is a high C personality. And so the way he operates is completely different from the way Terry or Mike operate. Terry and Mike are more about going out there talking to people, whereas Andrew is more of a system-oriented person, requires systems to be successful. And because of that, he's able to do things that Mike and Terry could never touch. It would take them years to build the systems that Andrew can build.
How does this work?
Time, right? It's just DISC, right? And so we do the assessment. We make sure that we evaluate you and know where you're going. So it's work. Look, it's not easy. Becoming a millionaire, you require mentors. Becoming a millionaire, there are coaches along the way. And
Easy.
you got to put.
Easy. Watch your words.
It's true, Mike.
Watch your words.
It's easy with the right people.
It's easy with the right people. And if you attempt to do it on your own, results may vary. We'll leave it that way.
That's fair.
Results may vary. And so if you're looking to become a millionaire, let me know. Shoot me a text, put something in the chat. Darina will contact you with more information. And if you love these events, put your hands to the camera. If you're getting something out of this every Saturday, you get value out of this, please put in the chat the thing you learned the most, the thing that you thought was most valuable to you, so I can do more of that. I like to spend more time moving people forward. Go ahead, Mike.
I just, it's really a mindset shift, because when I started talking to Walter, I thought being a millionaire was something that was really hard and you'll never get there. And once you get to the top of the mountain, then you die. So, but
Wow.
then when we started talking and he would just say stuff, and then I kind of did the net worth charting, and I was like, wait a sec, that was easy. And I could teach this to anybody. Here's the quick lesson: get 5 properties. You're done.
Yeah.
Get 5 properties, and then you're done. And then you can go on to Deca millionaire status.
And that's where we're going, right, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. On our way.
We're on our way. We're well on the journey.
Yeah.
And it takes partnerships to get there, and we're aware of that. And so if you've ever considered whether being a millionaire is worth it or not, Mike, what do you think?
Hashtag worth it.
Hashtag worth it. I love it. I love it. So yes, it is worth it. And the person you become is part of the journey, right? It's part of the end goal is that you become a bigger person. Like the problems that we have now, like people wish they had my problems. You know, I've got 80 grand in a stock account that I didn't have at the beginning of the year. I told Darina my goal is I want 100,000 sitting there at the end of the year, just in stocks, just like, you know, just from a couple good moves. Or if December comes around, I'll just throw the 20 grand in, right? But it's been progressively growing, so it looks like it'll be all right. And that's my problem, right? That's one of my goals. It's like, can I get the 100,000 and it be 100% out of my stock negotiations, like my stock trading skills, or am I going to have to go put money in there and I'll have like a little ego loss? Who wants those problems, right? Like that's a legitimate issue for me in my life. I'm like, okay. Like, can I move this around? Like Tesla is doing really good. By the way, Mike, great call. I'm looking to do another double down on Tesla. And like, if Tesla gets to $1,200, I will buy more. So, and Mitch Jorsky, I hope you shorted Tesla this week because you are making money right now. Is that, yes? Did you short it?
I'm staying out of this. Like I said, after trying to day trade Tesla for a week, I lost 3 years of my life. I made money, but I lost 3 years of my life. I don't play with it anymore.
Good man.
So I was driving the other day and I was thinking, wouldn't that be great if someone like Mitch could short it in the short term?
Yep.
And someone like me who's playing it for the long term, who knows that cars are just the very beginning of this whole thing, that it's really disruption of the whole energy field, could make money in the long term. That would be the best of both worlds.
And it's there. Yeah. It's there. It is an option for everybody to make money in stocks. But let me tell you, I first made my million in real estate, and the millions that Ron and I are worth came from real estate. Can you say right now that if you and your partner put your money together, you'd be worth $1 million? Oh, I know you would, Mitch. All right. But most people, let's say 5 years ago, for most people, if you were to say, hey, I got a partner and somehow we're going to get to $1 million together, that would be tough to say. Now, if you told me when I met my business partner 3 years ago, I was worth $500,000. If you told me that 3 years from now, we'd own a company that's worth almost $3 million. Well, the company's worth $5 million right now. We're about to pick up another $1 million, so it'd be worth $6 million. But our net worth, our equity position in that company will be nearly $3 million. If you were to tell me that 5 years ago, I hadn't even met Ron, right? If you told me that 3 years ago, please. Me and him didn't know enough to get to where we're at. I don't know how we pulled it off. It's just something magical that happens when you make a commitment with somebody else who's on track with you, on par with you, and says, yeah, I'm going there. And then I spent over $85,000 on coaches. I just went out. I paid for all the coaching. I paid for all the programs, got the mentors, went to all the events, and it has paid off. 3 years later, It is more than paid off. And all my coaches said it. They said, look, if I can make you an extra 100,000 a year, if I could make you an extra 300,000 a year, if I could get your net worth doubled, would it be worth it? I did the math, and yes, of course it was. Yeah, obvious.
Hey, Galter,
Go ahead.
it's funny you mentioned these numbers, and in the end, it's all like personal experience, and you just kind of had like a light bulb go off for me. So I partnered up, with my buddy in Massachusetts a year ago. He was transitioning in life. His net worth at the time was literally like $100. Like, luckily he was smart. He had no debt. He also had no money. And in 1 year, his portion, we've created $100,000 for him in net worth in 1 year.
Nice.
Just by partnering up and doing real estate. Like, I just didn't even realize until you were just talking about that. So like the power of partnering up is so huge. And, and the joy I get out of that, because this is a lifelong friend. We've known each other since we were 14 years old. So power of partnerships.
Yep. Thank you, Mitch.
Definitely be careful about who you partner with. Make sure that it's a good partnership and do it the right way. If you want to part with somebody, talk to me, talk to Mitch, talk to Walter, talk to Mike about how to do the partnership right, so you both don't end up in some kind of imploding thing, because there are definitely ways to do it right, and there's ways to not so do it right.
Yeah, thank you, Terry.
The other thing is what Walter's talking about. Real estate is
Where you want me to park?
real estate is one of the best investments there is, but it isn't the best. The best investment is in yourself. And so start spending the money, start investing in yourself, whether it's with this mentorship or something else. And even if you think that you're not getting what you want out of it, you're learning. And so everything starts coming together to move you in the direction you want to, as long as you're investing in yourself.
And Mike, hold that book up again, guys. If you don't have $1,000 to invest the $20 these books cost. Invest the $7. Some of these books are so cheap. If you don't have the ability to get to that next level to invest $1,000, then invest $7, right? $10, whatever the book costs. But start getting that knowledge. Go ahead, Mitch.
I was just saying that's such a good point, and it's funny that the book of the week is called Tribe of Mentors, because the bottom line.
Accident.
Yeah, right. No accident.
Yeah, well, anyway, it was fortuitous. None of this is planned. But the point is, I think everyone in this call has read a book at some time or reads books. Yeah. You are essentially doing mentorship. If you read a book, if you read Ray Dalio's book, if you read Tribe of Mentors, if you read, Think and Grow Rich, if you read Broke to a Quarter Million, if you read Scared to Get Back to Investing in Rental Properties, you are essentially doing a mentorship with that book. Right. What does that say? Quit taking your, oh my God, I need to read that.
Hey Terry, is that out? Is that out on Amazon yet?
No, it's not out yet. I told you October.
Okay.
October. Oh, we gotta wait till October. Send us some teasers.
Right?
You're getting them every Saturday.
Chapter.
But we do. But so the point was that, we do mentorship every time we buy a book, and we don't even realize it. You know what I mean? We are paying essentially for other people's experience, their knowledge, we're getting their tutelage. So, when you do that in person, when you join a mentorship, I mean, you're basically taking that book process and you're 10Xing it.
Yeah.
So, it's like
I would add to
your return and join a mentorship.
Yeah. I would add to that what Walter was saying earlier, that if you don't have the money right now, speak to someone who's already doing, and talk to them and see how you can value add for them. I mean, I guess well, first of all, find the $1,000 for Walter, because that's a drop in the bucket, and it'll pay off 50 times X.
10X, no guarantees. 10X.
But
I just want, getting a call with my
Hey, over promise, over deliver.
That's right.
Come on, man.
And, but if you're intimidated by the $50,000 price tag, go find someone and add value to them. Ask them what you can do. Maybe that's, I don't know, cleaning out apartments. Who the hell knows? It could be anything.
Absolutely. You got to start somewhere. Somewhere. Go ahead, Chris.
So, now that we're talking about partnerships, I've been talking to a few different people. And so what I'm wondering is, say for like you and Mitch, right? Like what motivated you to seek out a partner, and how did you go about evaluating the viability of that partnership? And was there anybody you decided to not work with, not naming names, but reasons you decided not to work with them?
Let me do mine first, Mitch. Mine's fast and short. So I was not seeking partners. They seek me out. And I've said no to absolutely everybody except for Ron. And the reason I chose Ron was because he came with a genuine heart. He came with a desire to do work for free, and he came with 150,000 already. So he was no liability. He was somebody who was a client of mine who asked me to partner with him. And he had 17 years in the military, and I just known him very well because he was working with my office. So I'd gotten very close to him, and he was no liability in any way. He made a 100% promise that he would do absolutely everything in the business. I would do absolutely nothing. He just wanted to partner. And ever since then, you know, he's done exactly that. So that was my reason. Mitch, go ahead.
Ironically, if you just remove the 150K in the military, pretty much identical.
Yeah.
In the end, you know, Galter essentially let someone, you know, a quality person come into his life that, you know, had a shared vision. And I think that's one of the biggest things that you guys should make sure when you partner up with someone, especially if it's going to be, you know, for more than, you know, one flip or something, if it's going to be a long-term thing, make sure your long-term vision is the same, because that's where it can get messy. So like for me and my partner, when it comes to our long-term vision, it's acquire rental properties, build a portfolio, and our exit strategy is there is no exit strategy.
I think
build, and then either A, leave it to charity and to his, you know, his daughter, or B, sell it off when we're all old and gray. But the bottom line is we both have the same long-term vision. And I think that's important when you partner up with someone, to make sure your long-term vision is the same.
I think that another piece of that is you can't be doing the same exact thing as the person you're looking to partner with. If they're doing the same exact thing as you, now you got two people doing the same thing and you're going to start butting heads. You can have the same, like Walter and I are very similar in how we approach things, and both high DI kind of thing. But we have different skill sets. And so we can work together because we have different skill sets. But if we had the exact same skill sets, it wouldn't really do any good to partner up. We could collaborate together, but the partnership, you know, for him, Ron has very different skill set than him, so it works really well. And for me, Christine has a different skill set than me, so it works really well. And so, you know, and the reality is I think me and Walter drive our partners crazy. But
I think they'd agree.
Yeah. But the reality when you start looking at partnerships is how can we both work together to move forward? And then the other piece is really communication from the beginning all the way through. If there's any kind of issues, talk about them, keep talking, keep the line of communication going the whole time.
And let me clarify something. I have actually taken on partners since Ron. And so like Mike Shine, right? Mitch Jaworski, Terry Wager, me and Mike are focused on building a 10,000 unit REIT right now. How to get 10,000 units in $1 billion REIT. And, you know, with Terry and Mitch right now, these are coaches that we've partnered with. We don't have a company together, but we affiliate. We partner with each other, and we do business together. And the goal is, and Dorina handles the brokerage side for me, the real estate team. So that's another partner that, you know, these are people that have come to me with a seed, not with a need, right? They've come to me and said, hey, I want to help. Chris, is that so far?
That's if I can jump in, Walter, that's the truth with my partners on 2 of my real estate deals. There was no need. Like when we collect rent, it just sits in the account. It doesn't, neither of us are saying, hey, I need a payout or I got to pay my mortgage. It's just sitting there growing. It's growing as reserves. So if something happens, what did Drew call that yesterday? If something really bad happens, I can't remember what he said.
It was probably like 3 or 4 4-letter words.
Yeah.
He likes to string them together good.
But it was really,
it's from
really
New York.
funny. The Holy Shit Fund. Thank you.
There it is.
That's awesome. It just sits there and there's no desperation. We're like at the end of the year, hey, should we take some of this money because we're going to get taxed on it anyways, or just leave it in there? And in both of the properties that have partners, we just said leave it in there. We don't even talk about it. That's so, like you said, seed, not need. That's a great phrase.
I think I stole that from Jim Rohn. I'm pretty sure it was either Jim Rohn or Zig Ziglar. But the idea is bring your seed, not your need.
Sounds like a Zig thing.
It could be. Yeah, they like to rhyme. They all like to rhyme. So the other piece
Bring
we're talking
seed,
about.
not your need.
Exactly. Chris, did that help, brother?
Yeah, sorry, I've been having technical difficulties. Don't ever buy an iPhone.
I got both.
Oh, crap.
Next phone is a Droid. Yeah, so I dropped off, but so I heard most of it. Yes, I mean, I think also, what I've been learning to do, and not just in real estate, is just use my gut. Like, is this person going to really be a solid partner? But we're going to be doing equal share of the work. I like what Terry said about not doing the same work.
Yeah.
You can. I'll do this task, you do that task, that kind of thing, and you complement each other. It's a relationship. Which clearly we all know I'm very good at.
Have them do a disc test.
Yeah.
Ah, all right.
Definitely.
Have them do disc. So, Chris, if you're a DI, you want a partner who's a CS.
Okay.
Or an SC. SC is preferable, right? The S should be stronger because they'll do whatever needs to get done.
And if they say they don't want to take the test, kick them to the curb right there.
Done.
Yeah.
Out of here.
See ya.
That's right.
What is
And if they don't want to take the test, they probably just know they're a huge ass. Nobody likes it.
Say huge ass. Is that what you said? They're a huge ass.
Just joking.
Yeah, I get it.
So I would say that if you're looking for, so I'm going to make a quick transition. If you're looking for extra cash right now, looking for a little extra chunk of money in your bank account, anybody always looking for a little extra cash out there? Yes. Excellent. So we sell the mentorship. As you noticed, we just sold the mentorship, and there are people who jump in and join with us. We also have partners that we affiliate with. So every time we sell the mentorship, we collect $1,000, but we don't keep the $1,000. We give $200 to whoever brought that person in through the funnel. So if you have your own link and you were able to collect somebody, then you get $200 directly into your account. The link is gualteramarillo.com/partner or partners. Let me double check that. Darina, can you double check if it's partner or partners? And so that link, you go in, you fill out.
What a great partner.
I know, she's amazing. So you go in, you fill out the information. It's basically a W-9, just so we know how to pay you, and so we can claim taxes at the end of the year. And so yes, when we pay you, we do claim taxes. But if you're able to see value in this program, the mentorship, if you've been through the mentorship, it's very easy to sell. And if you haven't, but you want to get into the mentorship and you don't have the cash right now, well, if you sell 5 of these, that pays for your mentorship. Does that make sense? So there's the ability to find extra cash by selling something you believe in and bringing them in and saying, hey, look, come to the Saturday event. And if you want to join the mentorship, just make sure you sign up through me and I'll sell them. I will do all the sales pitch. You are what we call in the business back of the room sales. So when they have a question about, hey, is this legitimate? You say, yes, it is. And here's the link. Are you ready to sign up? And by the way, you're a friend of mine. Make sure you sign up with my link because I get an extra $200. And if you sign up with my link, I'll pay for movie tickets or something, or I'll take you out for a drink. So let's sign up through me. The idea behind this is we want to turn every one of our friends into partners. I'm looking for 100 millionaires. I'm looking to build partnerships. The other partnership I'm looking for right now is somebody to do all my labor. So we don't like going to projects. We don't like looking at the properties anymore. Ron and I are very good at collecting money, finding deals, but the labor side of it is what backs us up every time. And so if we had somebody who was willing to do maybe their first flip or second flip, but they don't have the capital to get it going, well, we have the cash. We got no problem with money. I was sitting with one of my lenders last night, and he's like, we got $1 billion. you bring it through, I can find the money. So we've got the ability to bring all the money to every deal as long as it's a deal. And then we have the ability to find these deals. The problem is I don't have labor in Providence. I don't have labor in New Bedford. I don't have labor. Even in Fall River, I'm running out of people to do the jobs. And so if you know somebody who's looking to partner, then we're looking to partner in that regard. We'll start with a 10 to 15% equity position, and we may shift to a 20%, 25% equity position, depending on how well it goes, on whether we like you or not. And you do well, make us money, we'll help you make money. There is the ability, we'd like to add another 5-6 flips to our portfolio this year. At 20%, you're looking at an $100,000 to $150,000 income increase from babysitting contractors. I don't know about you, but $100,000 to $150,000 for babysitting contractors is good income. Yes, we agree. It's not a bad gig. So if you know somebody who is a good babysitter, who can make phone calls, who can show up on job sites, who can take pictures, send them to us, and just make sure a project runs through quickly, well, that's somebody we'd be looking to partner up with. And once we partner and things work out, we pretty much stay partners for life. That's kind of how me and Ron have been, and how I intend to be with the other people we've partnered with. And then if you're looking to build a 10,000 unit REIT, well, you got to start somewhere with us. And by building income and buying your own units and getting yourself up to that point, it gets me and Mike excited about bringing you in. And go ahead, Mike.
Just on that point, I said this the other night, but if anybody is out there finding properties, I'm looking for properties in opportunity zones. It's got to be a burr, so it's got to be something that you have to spend money fixing it up. It can't be ready to go. So.
Oh yeah, that reminds me, Mike. Mike, shoot me a text. I do have one for you.
Well, you got that one, but I don't want to have everybody else just say, forget it. Walter's already got one, so I'm
right. This one may not be viable. I just want to run it by you. Okay.
So opportunity zone, even if you're a realtor, Tarina, opportunity zone. Yeah. So thank you.
All right. Are there any other questions before we log off? And thank you, Mike. Mike is looking at opportunity zones. He's got the money. He's got the cash. Got the desire, which makes him a buyer. So very good.
You sound like a rapper.
I can't help it, man.
He's on fire. He's got the wire. He's got the desire.
Mario's got a question.
Question, Mario, bring it on.
Mike, are you adverse to New York?
I would look at something in New York. That's fine.
No, for opportunity zones.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, so you definitely Rhode Island and Mass.
Oh yeah, Rhode Island and Mass. I've got MLS in Rhode Island because I am a broker. So don't worry about Rhode Island, but Massachusetts, I don't have my license yet. So.
I don't worry, but I have. Okay, so I got the
off market. Sorry, off market.
Stop worrying.
Oh,
worrying now.
It's only off market.
Don't
you
worry.
Wouldn't do anything else.
Be happy.
Okay, got it.
Cool. Thank you.
Go ahead, Linda, yes.
Quick question to Mike. Mike, what other areas are you looking at?
If it's an opportunity zone, all of Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and I guess New York if Mario finds me something. But yeah.
I'm in Florida.
Oh, okay. Actually, that wouldn't be bad either. I've got an investor down there, so
Wait, Mike.
opportunity
Is his
zone.
name Mitch?
You want me to do stuff in Florida? I didn't realize. Why am I only looking in Massachusetts?
I
can
said
look
that to you. I sent you a private chat last week. I said, let's do something down in Florida.
Yes, I know.
Oh, I think he said that to me.
He said that to me.
To do something with you in Florida, Mike.
Yeah.
It was one of those, messages where it's like blind, carbon copy everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
And Walter's going to be down there with Tarina from November 1st. So I got to figure out a way to get down there anyway.
I'll be down in Tampa, so we're going to be looking at the Tampa market.
Tampa.
Outskirts. Yeah. Nice
That's
growing
good.
community.
Other coast from me. I don't need Galter's competition.
Why?
Go to the Dolly
Mitch
Museum.
is on the other side.
The Dolly Museum in St. Petersburg is just the most amazing museum. Salvador Dali.
Oh,
highly recommend.
Man.
Yeah. Cool.
Actually,
That's in St. Peter's. Is that by Tampa?
Yep. St. Pete, right.
St. Pete is nice.
Yeah.
I gotta go check that out next time I'm down there.
Mike, I actually know someone. I know a wholesaler in Tampa that has a deal that basically they're trying to do the Drew Martin move, acquire it and then list it MLS because it makes sense. It's a deal. Like there's a good spread, but she's scrambling to find the money to close on it herself. So obviously she's.
Oh yeah, let's get in touch. That would be awesome.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to double check if you were Landon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do that if I can't buy it myself. I'm actually considering making a run at it myself now that I have funds clearing up over the next couple weeks.
Nice.
I mean, think
I
about.
also would love to partner with you.
I was gonna say, just do it together.
That's a great idea because that would take the financial burden, cut it down in half. That would make life easier for me.
Okay.
It's funny. This whole thing this week has been about partnerships, and then you're like, oh wait, that's a good idea.
You know, it's funny. I think this probably happens to a lot of us when you're like in those conversations. You're like, oh, I could partner with this person, this person, this person, and then when you're in the moment, it's like your brain just blocks and you forget like through a bunch of these resources.
So just get a hold of me and we can talk about that.
Linda,
exactly.
Linda, don't let this conversation dissuade you. If you find something, let me know. Okay.
I definitely will.
Okay. Yeah, because we're not trying. This.
Linda,
abundance mindset.
We got so much money. We got the money. We can do the deals.
Yeah, if you find a deal, we will find the money, right, Walter?
What markets?
Right.
Yeah.
What markets in Florida?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Love it.
Mitch was asking Linda where in Florida. Is that what you said? Sorry, Mitch.
Yeah, she said Florida, right, earlier. So I want to know what markets that she was basically working in.
I'm in Daytona Beach, Florida, but any area in Florida, well, more central. I'm sorry, Central Florida.
Okay, no, it's a good area, good area to focus on. I mean,
Orlando?
Florida's gotten so expensive.
Orlando.
I was looking for a while. I was looking up in Merritt Island before the prices, jumped over the last couple of years.
Up near Cocoa.
Yep. And then I know a lot of people down here have been working the whole Orlando, Lakeland area. So definitely deals to be found.
And Linda, I do have 2 cash buyers in Daytona Beach. If you find whatever you find, I'll definitely make a connection.
Oh, awesome.
They are mostly single families, but are open to duplexes and so on. So that's there. They live there and they have their families there, so they're in it, and they think that Daytona Beach will grow in 10 years, like it's an up and coming market. So for sure.
Absolutely. They're doing a lot of development here. So, and I'm putting it out there. I've done no multi. I've done just residential. So I'm working my way up.
Nice.
Time to step it up. Stop working it and just do it.
That's the Walter. That's the Walter Amarillo story. Like, I don't touch single families anymore.
I will not.
I would love to say that, but I gotta get there. I'm gonna get there and play with the big boys.
There you go. You're going. So I've got to jump off. We have our mastermind for everybody who's in the mastermind. Starts at 12 o'clock. If you haven't received the link, shoot me a text, but I believe Ron sent the link to everybody's email if you are in the mastermind. So at 12 o'clock, we'll be deep diving into your business. We do this once a month. This is for everybody who has paid to be a member of the mastermind. You know who you are. That is expensive. That's $2,500 for the whole year, which again, I know for everybody in it, it is cheap. And for many of you, you bought it at a cheaper discount. You bought it at a lower rate before we upped the price. And so as we continue to go, it goes a little higher and higher as we get better and better people in. And I appreciate everybody who's in it. Looking forward to seeing you at 12. For everybody who hung out with us today, thank you so much for your time. Linda, thank you for your questions. Ken, Mario, appreciate the questions. Good to see you, Sharon, Marcia, Alan, George, Robert, Tanya, Stephanie, Melanie, Ken, John, Linda, Julie, Chris Hayward, Kim, Harvey, Terry Wager, Mitch Jorsky, Mike Shine, and Darina Pagodina. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for staying on this late. And if you have any questions, just shoot me a message on Facebook or shoot any of the coaches a message on Facebook. Let's get some partnerships going. Let's start obsessing over the people who are more successful than you and see how we can improve ourselves. That said, cheers to your success. When you have a choice, always work with
Always
the
work
best.
with the best. Hey, can you send me the link to the mastermind?
Yes.
Awesome.
Shoot me a text though, so I'll because as soon as I hang up, I know I got 100 texts. Later, guys. Hey, Mike.
Hey.
Passive income from passive income.
Passive income from passive income.
Later, guys.
Yeah. You the man.